Hey, how you doing? Glad to see you back. Did you enjoy the previous episode? Probably not. Very rushly edited, and there was that weird masking issue that happened when I exported the video. I don't know why, but it's just proof that Adobe is a really great software that does really great things. Anyways, here's the second episode. Hopefully I can finish this entire playthrough in this episode because I'm gonna probably have another college project to do, and I'm also trying to learn SFM. So hopefully this should be the last, and this one should be at least better edited than before. Well, at least the last of Drill Sergeant. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the Sprocket or Prison Break ones anytime soon, given the other projects I want to do, and also college. Alright, that's all I wanted to say. On to the video. Starting off Glacier Gully, we got the Frigid Chompy. They freeze you on hit, but at the same time, they're just chompy, so no surprises, they're dead. Picking up the Machine Ghost and this hat, we get to use the laser prisms, which angers Noodles, a really funny character. I like the way he says, "Great evil Ice Master! Oh, you'll pay for this!" Sliding down, you have to kill 2 Mohawks. But be sure not to destroy any of the snowmen, cause Noodles will be mad at you for it. Somehow the snowmen just break anyways. I think that'd be cool though, if he didn't get angry at you if you didn't break them, and you could skip the extra fight with the Executioner. But unfortunately, it breaks anyways, and he still sends the Executioner at you. And also come Mohawks. The Executioner in particular are particularly risky to deal with given the ice physics. However, your dash ignores the ice physics, and you can dodge just as easily as on land. Moving downwards, we got more ice chunks to laser and a feat of strength to use for more money. Moving forwards, we get given our next range support, the Bago Boom. They throw bombs at you, and you can pick them up to throw at enemies for around 200 to 400 damage each. But don't just stand near the bomb impact though, or else you will eat that damage in return. You can use them to blow up this weird tall igloo thing, I don't know what it is. But you can blow it up for a legendary treasure and a free 100 gold. But before we do that, more Mohawks, including an armored variant. Taking the glass cannons that are the Mohawk Cyclopses and making them as tanky as most other brawlers in the game. However, thankfully you are given a lot of room to avoid them though. Watch out for the Bag of Boom Bombs though at the same time. Now it's time to get the most important hat in the game. Move off to this fire area and we find 2 enemies. The Fuego Chompies, which we'll talk about a lot later, this guy to play Skystones with, and the laser puzzle to top it off. And our ambush is the second enemy, Sunburn. He has 3 different attacks, a flamethrower, a teleport, and an instant flamethrower. This battle consists of Sunburn teleporting towards you. If you're near his teleport spot, you will take damage. If you're close to where he teleports, he will immediately flame you. If he's walking towards you and you get close before he starts to teleport, he will fly up and use his flamethrower. All of these would deal 100 to 200 damage each, so watch out. He is invincible while teleporting, and his instant flamethrower is, well, instant, so it's undodgeable. The attack you want is the regular flamethrower, since it takes a while for him to perform, is quite easily reactable and dodgeable, and he's left very vulnerable in this animation, since you can both not turn at all, and you can just freely set up whatever you want. However, you need to get close, and you need to time it right. Watch out! Start teleporting again if you took too long. Every hit here is punishing, especially the teleport shockwave, because you can immediately follow it up with the insta-flame to nuke your health bar. Once you've beat him, you will be given the Firefighter hat, which will give you 20 crit points. This is good. Use it. And this will basically be the final hat you will use for the rest of the playthrough. Going back to the level, we need to break another snowman just to spite Mr. Noodles. Then we find Frigid Chompies, Mohawks, and Executioners, with Bilbo Baggins supporting in the distance. Sorry, Bagaboons. Or whatever this form of support is considered to be. Use the Executioner's melee to take each other out, dodge the Bagel Booms, and knock out the Mohawks before the Executioners can show up. Now it's time for the ice bowl. Except not. Grab this soul gem and treasure and let's go find Auric. Cool, useful, wacky sky stones. And thank the lords that your dash can ignore the slippery ice physics. Get the key, grab the coins, make sapphire. Get another key, run into a cactus. Feet of strength, and it's time for the next and final battle. Which I kinda triggered accidentally. Starts with Mohawks and armored Mohawks. Keep moving, don't get cornered, and don't accidentally eat this pizza. This is until the executioners are introduced. One jumps in with the initial Mohawks, but 3 more arrive alongside the frigid chompies. Don't get frozen, since that is basically instant death near the executioners. Welcome to giant, slow-traveling projectile hell. Wear them down and you will make it. One final laser puzzle, but first destroy this weird igloo thing with the bag of booms here. Doesn't really get you much money, but it's money. Now we finish off the ice blocks, and make our way to the giant robot. Press F to pay respects here for the boss fight that originally was going to happen. Like, how else are we going to see Noodles f***ing die? Like, holy shit, like, none of this send of flying Team Rocket style. He just got turned into a f***ing shock outline. Why did this not happen? As for the rankings, frigid chompies, although deadly with their ability to freeze you, are still chompies. F tier. Bago booms are ranged support units that throw bombs at you. These bombs deal a lot of damage to you if you're unfortunate to be caught in the blast. However, dodge the bomb, you can pick it up to deal 240 damage to the enemy. Armored Cyclopses are like regular Mohawk Cyclopses, but they don't die in a few hits. This is bad, since an already tricky enemy that was quite a threat in certain instances are now even a bigger threat in most instances, since they don't die immediately now, and will be placed 1 tier above their regular brethren. Executioners will be moved up to A tier. The fight with the 4 of them makes things tense, especially when combined with the Mohawks. A for Executioner. I ended up having enough money to get the Mega Dozer upgrade. Now our dash damage is a lot more viable, and we can dash through certain attacks. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell us what ones we can go through though, so don't risk charging through attacks until you know that you can indeed ignore some damage. But at the same time, this might be only possible in Spyro's Adventure, and it was never properly integrated again in the later games, similarly to the fly over water upgrade, since water was a key part of Sonic Adventure, of Spyro's Adventure, but it was never in Giants. Maybe in the 4 extra chapters, but I don't care about those. Okay, maybe the dragon one. That's what I would have said if that bastard didn't ruin the boss fight with his childish logic. You dumb dragon. I wanted a boss fight, not this perfect world of magic and rainbows bullshit. Where was I? Oh, right. Level 6. Archean Secret Vault of Secrets. This level has us pinned to being on the robot for a while. There's little to no threat in those sections, but they do take a while. There's no speeding them up. So make sure you don't die at the end, because you'll be going through a long section of being on the big man walking towards the dam very slowly. The controls are simple. Analog sticks to turn the body, aim the cannons, and attack to shoot. And you can also use the triggers to punch. You can perform a shockwave, which is pointless other than just to look cool, or destroy Archean copters, because f*** them in particular. Approaching our first dam, we get given our newest support unit, the Archean Bombers. Practically identical to the Bago Boom, but the only difference is, Archean Bomber's projectile doesn't explode on hit. Instead, it's a case of hot potato, where you have the bomb and you have to throw it back at the enemy, or else it will explode on you. This is more useful to you than the enemy, because these Archean Bombers basically just hand you a 400 damage nuke to throw at enemies. Just remember to actually throw them, or realize that you picked up 2 and you need to throw them twice. Anyways, kill all the chompies, throw the orb back at him, twist this twisty thing, and we won't take long before I find our next enemy in this electric puzzle. Archean Shield Jousters. They're like Archean Jousters, but stronger. They deal more damage, they have shields that only allow you to attack them when they attack, and they make a crazy powerful shockwave on hit. This shockwave is dangerous, having crazy range and active frames. If you don't know what active frames mean, just look it up on like Dustloop or something. After we fight one, we face two, and a bomber to allow us to kill them and ignore them. They're very easily stun locked, but if you have 2 or 3 or more, stun locking goes from easy to difficult, and you might need to be careful when attacking multiple at once. Kill them and you get access to this cracked stone to drop a giant down. Money and more sky stones. After some rounds, we're off to the hardest puzzle in the game. Back to the shooting gallery, we finally get a little bit of dopamine, aka punch robot and not get punched. Shoot these things preemptively just in case copters come out. Also tip, start punching the air just cause you can indeed slap copters as they swing by, stopping you from needing to shoot them. Notice how his hand disappears from existence. Try and get these two to drop down for you to kill them immediately. Just don't get cocky though. Take out the chompies and, oh hey, bark demons. Turns out this bark demon was originally meant to spawn here first, not in junkyard aisles. Use the bomber to insta-kill him. Feat of strength into money is a true combo, power lines, and a puzzle we will ignore. Time for more bark demons. Try not to kill this root runner first, as it will at least keep one bark demon distracted, ready for you to nuke him with the bomber. Time for the shield juggernaut. They have 2 attacks, one where they raise their shield and fire a laser, and a melee attack. Watch out for the melee attack as it can have a deceptive hitbox. When they slam their shields together for their laser, that actually is a form of melee attack, so be careful not to face hug them when they go into their laser since it has a small hitbox for some reason. Even then, it only does 100 damage, so it's not that much. Just nuke them with the Archean bombers. Moving forwards, we get a tight area with 3 jousters. Do not get cornered here. You can't stun lock all 3 of these all too easily, so don't bother. Try not to corner yourself and get out of there by charging through them and safely take him out from afar. You can burst the first one down immediately since his shield doesn't cover his back and he's forced to run towards the gate. This would count as a roll infraction, right? Once one is left, you can just stun lock him to death. Don't forget the Luckatron wheel here, especially given the fact that it's a health one. There's a little trick you can do in this puzzle where you can rotate the board while going through the teleporter. This is odd because this can't be done with any other lock puzzle in the game. So I'm not sure if this is intended or if it's a small glitch from me emulating this game on RPCS3, especially given that RPCS3 is unstable at times. But I feel like I've done this before on the Xbox 360 version of the game. That or it's some weird Mandela effect bullshit. Another giant section. This is basically just a turret section, but a little bit more interesting and cool than an actual turret section. But you're still stuck here for a really long time, before you're allowed to even play the game again. But this time, you fight 2 giant robots. How could you tell this game was made in the early 2010s? Final section, go to this hidden teleporter here for legendary treasure. Come down here for Auric and an Ultron stone. And health if needed. Turn on the power? No, I still don't get how twisting a twisty thing smashes it and shatters the thing and then just gives the damn power. How does this work? Come down here for a tech section for a little convo of Clamtron and a hat. Plus the Wing Sapphire on the stage. It's a bunch of twisties and clockwork stuff. Don't be dumb. Or others, don't be dumb. There are a few enemies here, but you can toss them off the edge with your charge. Plus, there are also enemies that get themselves killed, so whatever. What I meant by don't be me is because I took way too long to figure out this puzzle. But I got it in the end. As I mean the end, I mean the end of time. But no, I actually did. I got it. I eventually did. Bark demons, a jouster, and bombers. I tried at first to take on the Bark Demon on its own, but that was a bad idea since you're better off just aggroing the Bomber to then kill the Bark Demon for you. Kill the rest and it's puzzle time! Yay. Don't get shocked, and if you do, pizza! Another Juggernaut appears here, but if you retreat down to this lower area, you can actually shoot him with your auto laser and he can't hit you back. Grind his health away and it's up to the Suicide Squad. One last puzzle to rule him. Look at this gangster ass walk.
Robot! Take me home!
You know, why didn't we just crash through the roof instead of doing all that damn bullshit? Appreciate the fact that the developers made the ghost T-pose when he's glitching. It's a neat little detail. Go watch the 10-year anniversary stream they made. They had some pretty good development issues, stories, and details. Plus, they also had funny moments, like them referring to the characters by their developer names.
Had Bobcat Goldthwait is the alchemist.
Pop
Sorry, Pop Fizz. I'm sorry. Dead names for me only for Skylanders.
Beyond.
Yes,
Now,
and beyond.
Does Machine Ghost
Fourth.
die at the end of this level?
No, don't
Spoilers, dude! Oh,
Or does he?
how can a ghost die?
Oh,
That's it, I quit.
Ranking time. Archean bombers are weak in terms of health. But they do give you free bombs to chuck at enemies. Seriously, who designed these enemies? They just hand you a rocket launcher and say, hey, shoot me or my friends with it. D tier. Archean shield jousters can corner you easily, and they can mess you up with those shockwaves. However, they are stun lockable and spawn mostly with Archean bombers, which lets you insta-kill them. Bark demons will be moving up to A tier. Their damage is a lot higher now and they spawn in smaller areas, but unfortunately there is one battle where they spawn with a root runner to stun lock them and a bomber to kill them immediately. But in the other encounters they become a lot more dangerous since there's no easy way to cheese them. Need more money. Brock, give me money.
Oh yeah!
Give me better laser. Now we got better laser. Future Cannon is a saving grace, taking the low damage single target pea shooter into a low damage single target pea shooter that occasionally fires a 45 AC. What actually happens here is that every third, fourth, fifth, I'm not actually sure which shot, of the auto laser will be a green laser shot that deals 10 to 15 damage instead of 2, and does splash damage. Meaning you could deal with crowds a lot better, and you could also deal single target damage a lot greater. This is an insane upgrade. Taking your passive damage and making it both good passive damage and splash damage. This is just straight up overpowered. Future Cannon is worth it in every way possible, and is kind of the reason why the bottom path is now just the best path in the game, since obviously you want a better auto laser. Level 7. Before hitting the dimension switch here, go and grab this treasure chest down here, then hit the switch and grab this winged sapphire up here on this weird balcony thing. Is our new brawler to deal with. They're quite similar to Drow Lancemasters except with slightly more health and a quicker melee attack. They also spawn a lot more in crowds, and you'll constantly see more trolls than Drow in a group of them. Oh, there's also chompies there too. You'll only find 3 Mace Majors right now in this battle, but they'll come in numerous amounts later. Just hand back, spam them with the auto blaster shots, especially after we got this Future Cannon upgrade. Feel free to dash into them for more damage as well. Once we beat those, they'll be the only enemies for a while. Off to get those keys. First, treasure chest. Skystones time. More Skystones. Why did she not give you the Bark Demon? Now let's get those keys. Now we're back on track, let's immediately go off track again. After we're done, it's time for some more Bark Demons. Beware of this one in particular, this has the highest damage you'll be finding in the game. You can skip this fight by going back into the Willikin world, but there isn't any much fun in that. Going across this bridge and grabbing this scroll, let's push this bomb into this not-so-secret cave to heal up. If you even need to heal, that is. Up this hill is a Bark Demon and some chompies, so up to a giant for this secret. It's also very clever but also very evil. Snag this chest and a Lucktron wheel. And now it's time for the slow-moving box crusher section. This is one crusher section of 3, and it's really slow and really annoying. Halfway through, we get a fight consisting of a few Mace Majors and the start of the Grenade General's reign. These are ranged support units that lob splash damage grenades at a decent attack rate. They are by far the most deadly ranged support for a few reasons. Damage. Much like usual enemies in this nightmare difficulty, they deal a lot of damage, but also splash damage. The splash damage radius on these grenades are stupidly deceiving, and you can seriously underestimate the range of the explosions. Unpredictable. The grenades aren't straight flying projectiles like most other units' projectiles. These tumble around and they bounce across the floor, which makes them very unpredictable since they'll bounce anywhere they feel like it. Even if the terrain is slightly uneven, the unpredictability becomes even worse with these grenades. And they can put you on a major disadvantage, depending if you're near a sloped surface and such. And finally, spam. Grenade generals throw a grenade once every 1.5 seconds, and considering the fact that there's about 10 of them in one fight, you can see how dangerous these guys can be, spamming high damage, hard to see, hard to avoid, hard to predict grenades. And you have to deal with all that from several of them at once. And given that they're ranged support, that means they're usually placed in areas you can't kill them in until you take out the brawlers and tanks. Which usually means they're a persistent threat in most fights and you'll only be allowed to kill them at the very end. And currently, thankfully, they do not spawn that much here, but trust me, that'll become worse later. Plus, as a range unit, they appear in 4 levels, as opposed to the 2 to 3 that most regular range supports will appear in. Which means you'll have to deal with this bastard more than every other range support in the game. You don't count. Take them down, use your mobility to skip the boxes, but look back around to grab some stuff. Remember to swap to the dark and depressing real world before climbing and entering this cave, so the bad magic becomes good magic, somehow. Feat of Strength, break the cardboard cutouts of the Mace Majors, and grab the Soul Gem you're definitely not going to use. Back on track, use the bomb to squish everything in your way and enter the town. And then question how this village is somehow capable of having the capacity to make ship parts in spite of having only 3 houses. Destroy everything in this town and grab this key. Hey Orc. Thanks Orc. If you enter this house here and grab the key, enemies will spawn outside, so get ready if you enter the middle house. Rush the grenade generals first and watch out for the Mace Majors to ensure that you don't get spammed with grenades immediately. But even then, you're still probably going to get hit anyways. After those Mace Majors and Generals defeated, we now have to fight Bark Demons and Root Runners. Oh and also Chompies, they're here too. Careful of the Bark Demon's melee attack as it can hit you from even behind them. Get out of reality and make your way to the fight after a quick puzzle. Maybe not a quick puzzle. Challenging the mage, you want to avoid killing the Enfuego Chompies as they blow up and deal a lot of damage when you let him eat those Enfuego Chompies. Dodge the magic, which is quite easy unless it's all red because you accidentally swapped into the other world when you really shouldn't have. Style on him and get him mad. Now the fight really starts. The way this fight works is Chompy Mage will throw magic at you where you must swap the magic type from hurt to heal. Then, after you've dodged him for long enough, you'll swap back into his Chompy form, where you can then damage him. Although you can shoot him here, you're better off just letting the Enfuego Chompies do the work, so hang in the corner and try your best not to kill any of the Enfuego Chompies, and then rinse and repeat. This fight isn't really that hard. Any damage you might take will be ignored by all the healing orbs you get given while the boss is in his human form. Plus, it's hard to get hit to begin with. You only have 3 sources to take damage from. Chompies, which are useless, the giant Chompy, which will never reach you when you hug the corner, which is what you should be doing, and last but not least the magic, which you can make the magic not hurt. But at the same time, this fight does take a while, so hunker down, wait for him to blow himself up by eating Chompies, and that should be it. Also, quick tip, change the Chompies to green ones before you start to eat them. Because if a Chompy aggroes you, it won't blow itself up, but then swap to the explosive Chompies when he starts eating them. Mace Majors are not a big deal so far. There isn't that many of them yet, but they are still a threat, as they will punish any small mistake you make. Tier C. The Fuego Chompies are Chompies, F tier. Grenade Generals are projectile slinging bastards that rapidly throw grenades at you. These grenades are hard to see and have a huge blast radius, plus they are also extremely unpredictable, B tier. Chompy Mage is easy, but takes a while to kill. It's really ironic that the hardest part of the fight is accidentally killing the Fuego Chompies, preventing them from blowing up the Mage. D tier.